Hello guys, and it's me, Golden. Today we're gonna be ranking brawlers on what rarities they're going should be, not going to be, because Supercell doesn't really know who I am and stuff. So let's start. So common. Oh, first of all, I'm going to rate them on how complicated they are, how good, how hard it is to learn on them, and how, in my own opinion. So Shelly is a really good common starter. It's a really good tank killer. Uh, and it doesn't have that much range, but it's she still does have some range. So we need a ranger, which is going to be cold for common too. So you'll start with Shelly, and then your first two new brawlers are going to be Colt or El Primo. Exactly, guys. So we have a tank killer, um, then not a sniper, just a long damage dealer, and a tank as your first three brawlers. Now we're going to rare, which means it's going to be a little bit more complicated, where we have Poco, our first introduction to healing. Oh yeah, and guys, I'm actually stealing this video format from Carnage game. So shout out to Carnage, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't need my shout out because you probably already know him. So yeah, Poco goes to rare, and then Bull will go to rare as well. Well, because Bull is pretty much like El Primo, but a little bit more complicated. Doing his kind of like Shelly and El Primo's two like traits together. Poco is a good like first healer, so yep. Brock is he will be good for rare, I guess. It's like Colt, but a little bit like less hard. Actually, let me put Colt here and then uh Brock there, because that seems better. Because Colt is a little bit harder to understand. Then we have Rosa, which is El Primo, but like better, and like it has a shield, which makes it a little bit more complicated. And then we have a Jackie, and Jackie isn't complicated at all, but I don't want to put it as low as common, so let's put it to rare. Now we have Nita, which will be a really good super rare. She has a actually wait, no, she will be a rare. It's the first introduction to pets, and pets are pretty good and they're a key feature in a lot of brawlers, so our first introduction has to be pretty early in rare section. Then we have Barley, guys. Barley is a thrower, and throwers are already unique. They can throw over walls. Not every brawler can do that with their main attack. Well, there's a brawler that throws himself, but we will get there. A super rare. Then we have Jesse. It's a spawner like Nita, but a little bit more complicated because its turret is a ranged spawner, so that's really interesting. Then we have Rico. It's pretty much cold, but with extra steps. Makes sense. Daryl is a combination of Bull. It's like Bull, but like a little bit more complicated and much better. Carl, a first one ammo brawler, and he is a little bit tricky to understand his mechanics, but I feel like super. Actually, let's move him to epic. Epic will be better because of his ults and stuff. But then we'll have a lot of epics, but like no one really cares. Abs is a good super rare. Her kit is not that hard to understand. It's not that like difficult to master her as well. So super rare seems okay. Frank is introduction to stuns, and super rare is a good because a lot of brawlers can stun now, and it's better to introduce it as early as possible. So it's going to be Frank. Plus, Frank is pretty tanky, and for newbie players, it's easy to understand. Next we have Griff. It's literally Shelly, but more complicated. So super rare. Gale. He can. He's somewhere between super rare and epic, but I believe super rare is much better for him. Actually, let's go epic. He's good in epic. He's a little bit more complicated than other guys because he can like his super utility is really interesting. 8-bit introduction to damage boosting, and I believe super rare might be good for him. He's pretty slow, but damage increase will be really important. So yeah, Byron is good and epic. It's he's a healer like Poco, but much more complicated and harder to play. Dynamite is a really, really, really good epic. It's barley, but harder, 100 times harder. And I love Dynamite with my heart. And I would really want to put him in Mythic, but he doesn't really deserve that. So Epic is good for him. Penny is a great epic. It's just Jesse, but more complicated with its new mortar turret. Next, we have Bo, a really good epic. His mines are really confusing for newbie players, so playing with him and mastering him will be a little bit tricky. And for most of his people, it will look OP because newbies can't really dodge his mines. But epic is good for him. Epic is great. Piper. It's kind of like our first introduction to like damage dealer, uh, like snipers because we had Jessie, but she's not really a sniper. So Epic is good for her. And yeah. Plus it's kind of like Ems, but like with damage that Ems does more damage when you're like far away from her. So Piper there is good. BB knockback. Epic. Great. No comment. Edgar. Epic. Burnham. No comment. Mandy. Epic. Just Piper, but epic. Burn. Actually, no. Hank. A little complicated. Bubbles go boom. Epic. Actually, wait. Mandy. Let's put Mandy there. Like super rare. Actually, her super is a little bit interesting to understand. So let's go. Let's make Piper go down a bit. Um, and actually Gale too. Super rare is good. Um, Pearl. Mythic. No comment. Mr. P. It's just Penny, but weirder. No comment. Buster, um, it's opposite of Piper, so epic, good. Buzz, is kind of complicated and it's pretty hard to understand him. He has similar traits to Buster, so mythic. Yeah, mythic. It's just stun. Tick is a good good epic. His shots are a little hard to understand, but yeah. Goss, literally epic because of his actually super rare is good for him. He has like a weird bar thingies that most people will won't understand, but well, they'll get it. Ham is a good epic because Pearl is there, and actually let's go mythic 'cause yeah, because Byron is already there as a healer. B is a good epic. She's a little bit more complicated than Piper, but yeah, there's no but. Uh, Colette will be our first, I say, mythic because of her percentage damage. Belle is going to be. It's a more complicated Jessie. Lola, clone, epic. Maisie, mythic. Tara, mythic. So Maisie is a little bit hard to get shot off, and Terra is it's like a spawner. So mythic is good. She does a lot. Actually, yeah, mythic. Squeak is a good mythic too. No comment. Ruff's power ups. Ooh, rhymed. It's like 8-bit, but better, I guess. Otis, boring, burn him. Mythic. Dog, he sucks, but his uh like reviving ability is good, so mythic. Nani is a good mythic. Grom is our first exotic. Actually, let's go this way. Nani is hard to understand, so Grom goes down. Bonnie is a good epic because she has two forms, but like, yeah, introduction to forms. Ash is a little hard to understand. I still don't understand him. With few years of experience, I still don't understand how in the world that trash can works. But like, it's rage. Sam is a really good exotic. Oh yeah, exotic. It's a new rarities that I added, guys. There was actually a rarity between epic and mythical, super epic, but then I thought, and it's going to be too much though. Exotic and heroic are new rarities that I added. Max, introduction to speed is a good mythic. Lou is stunning. It, Lou is the guy who stuns. And who stuns again? It's Boss. But so Lou is a little bit complicated. This guy, Fang, that everyone hates will go to is a good epic, I guess, because he's not really hard to understand. Actually, mythic because of his shoe attacks. A double forms will go to epic with Bonnie. Charlie is a really good legendary. No comment. It makes sense. Actually, exotic. It makes sense. Uh, Sprout is an exotic too. Makes sense. Genie is a great um mythic. His his super is really interesting. Eve is actually will be a really good legendary because yeah, going on water, no one can do that. Janet is a good epic with her sister Bonnie because yeah, she's not that hard to understand. And Gray with his teleports will go there too. Willow is a great exotic brawler, controlling brawlers. That's so cool. And same with Lair and Lori. It's a second brawler. You get two brawlers in one. Isn't that cool? Crow is a great example of a legendary. It's of course uh not introduction to poisoning because Byron did it, but Crow is still good. Crow is plus iconic too. Amber is a great example of a heroic. Actually no, legendary because yeah. Stu is a great exotic brawler. It makes sense. Mortis is a legendary. He is hard to understand. And yes, of course. Uh Chuck is our first heroic. Actually, sorry, legendary. He's legendary because of his hard kit to understand, and plus he is annoying, so less people will get him. Leon is introduction. It's kind of an introduction to invisibility, so legendary is good for him. Meg, two forms, not that hard to understand. Exotic. Chester, randomness, legendary. Kit, two brawlers in one. We already did it. We already saw it. So let's go to let's put you in the exotic. Cordelius, first heroic, and Spike, he's too iconic to not be heroic. Sandy is just Leon but more complicated. Miko is just Mortis but more complicated. And Surge is finally our last heroic brawler. It was fast, wasn't it? Me just going. So let me like go and change some stuff in here so that it would make more sense. So, see ya. It was already epic. So this is our final rating. I moved Otis from mythic to exotic and Charlie from exotic right here to legendary. And I moved the Squeak from mythic to epic, and same was Buzz. Oh, and this guy will go back to mythic because yeah, I can do that. So this is our um tier list. So commons, these guys, rares, 6 people, super rares, I think it's 11 or 10, no 11. Then bunch of epics like always, and then 4 less mythics, and then uh exotics, and exotics are there are actually less exotics and they're super rares, which is good because it makes sense since there are less legendaries and then less heroic. Thank you, people.